Alright, before I lose this train of thought, the way to put this is so the so-called science that is taught in schools, pseudoscience, it tells you you're just a monkey. You're from a monkey that had butt sex with a fish squirrel, right? That's all you are. Take that, right, which is submission to your not really much at all. Or like the legions, the military orders called legions, religions. Jesus was the only one that could perform miracles, and even thinking for a second that you could be on the same level as him, even though there are Bible verses where the Christ said, you know, you will do this and more, right? But the legions, you know, they need soldiers' soul to die. They don't want you to know this. Same thing as the pseudoscience. They want you diminished. And we see this all throughout our society, but they say if you think for a second that you could be on the same par as that Christ character, that's a sin. And you're going to be sent to hell forever by a God that loves you unconditionally. It's that crazy shit, man. So, everyone probably has supernatural abilities to some extent, but man is not equal. Like Nietzsche said, for justice speaks within me, man is not equal. It's true. What else? He said only the most inferior type demand for everyone to be equal. He said something like that, which I totally agree. We're all equal because we play a part, but anyways, for the extreme individual, especially lately, this whole convid, and even before that, in the stars, or maybe the out of control freaks just pushed too far, and inside God's dream, the collective, they started waking us up. The extreme individual, the rare type, the higher type. The way the world is right now, it's just like, what fuck to you? And even before it got to this way, you've suffered. You couldn't be like the rest of them. Know that you have natural superpowers that you can tap into a lot easier than most people. And like the pseudoscience just trying to tell you, like, this is most of your DNA is junk DNA. It's total bullshit. You're just from an ape having butt sex with a fish squirrel. Or like say the religions, to basically, it's extreme nihilism. That you should feel guilty for even existing here, because you're guilty before you're even born. And basically you're given a free will, but do not use it. Do not use it, because you go to hell forever if you do that. And you need to submit unconditionally, whether to Allah or the out of control freak, biblical God, at least Old Testament biblical God, right? You need to submit and hate your body, especially the natural things of the body. Lust, you're given that, but you're supposed to despise that which everyone's given. And basically just look at this as a means to get to after death. Worship death. Worship the death of this body. So, I mean, we can go after example, but like so much, like even the cell phone too. It's a distraction. It's always out there. Now, how do we get to our, say, superpowers? Is to be here now. But it's so hard to do. Especially with all the nonsense that has been shoved in your Golgotha. Your Christ. Golgotha, where Christ sacrificed the skull. And it's, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just nonsense. Like, oh, like, were they thinking, or I gotta think about tomorrow, whatever. You know, and it's just like reminiscence on the past. You know, like, say when you're little, like, it could be very, very subtle things, but it's like you didn't do, like, say you outsmarted your parent, and they didn't like that, and aren't you a little smart aleck, right? And then you associate being smart with being punished, so you don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think a lot of people like that act dumb are actually smart, but they have that programming of, oh shit, if I show my natural abilities of intelligence, I get hurt or get punished. And then the parent will put them in their room and say, you need to think about what you did. So you need to reminisce on the past. Because that served, I mean, like for a lot of parents, that served their will to power, to feel powerful. At least they felt powerful over the kid, you know? They'll never admit it, but that is, like, a lot of people, their will to power is doing bizarre, twisted shit like that. That's what, like, it came, say, the religions, right? Is the lower types got to use this biblical text to and the church behind them to shame on you for your lust or for your being too intertwined with this world. Basically, this is a one-size-fits-all program, prepackaged belief system that you need to submit to, and we are superior because we submitted to it. But like, see, like the lower types, like, they're not capable of a whole lot. So like it was to their best interest to use this, which they're using in a very bizarre, twisted way, to bring down the higher type. That was their will to power, bring the higher type down a little bit, and then they feel like a little, but it's more of like a drug fix, you know? It's not even like they're getting like a real, somewhat of a boost of power, of the energy. They get like a little bit of boost, but it's a lot of it's just drug shit. You know, like, oh, I told them, you know. But for the rare type, to get in touch with your superpowers, be here now, and a lot of that is the body. Just focus on just what the body, you know, like say if you're like starting to get anxiety, like, I don't know, like I say, I don't get anxiety much in social situations. People say I'm pretty sociable, you know, I guess you'd say. Very laid back, in charge most of the time. But I see how it can arise that, like, people are so used to it, like, say, in social situations, where they don't even realize they're doing it. So, like, say in a social situation, and your mind's chattering, like, oh, I gotta be like this, like that, or I'm going to fit in. With things like that, that mental chatter, just try to ignore it and just focus on the body. Breath, heart rate, and then, like, feel, like for me, like, a lot of it is, like I touch, like, a base root within myself, which, like, I can feel, like, around me. And that's when when I tap into stuff like that, that's when, like, I'm getting synchronicities and all that stuff. So get in touch with the body. And all the other... It seems like something happened where, like... I don't know about you, but, like, especially when I first started waking up, like, 4.5 years or so ago. Man, I got hammered hard. Especially by the lower beings. And that helped me wake up quite a bit. But now it's like... It's almost like they hit me as hard as they could when they could. But now it's like... So they did that so that, like, now I'd be hesitant to come back out. You know? But now, the little times it's like, kind of branch back out. Because you can only get hit so many fucking times. You're like, oh, fuck. Like, alright. Where you're like, what's the point? You know? Like, I've tried to... And then you just get fucking shot down so many fucking times. And you're like, well, why would I keep on banging my head against the wall? I'm going to wait till there's an opening. And I think the opening is now. And... Get past what was done. And also all the fucking nonsense you were taught. I've said this so many times in my videos, but it's all nonsense. If anything, it's the reverse of truth. Everything. Reverse of fucking truth. And you know what? Get over that. See it for what it is. Okay, the lesser... it was a slave rebellion. Like, say when Christianity took over, that's when it started. But, like, right now, it's not just Christianity. Like, it's, say, the PC police and the virtual signalers. It's the same force, which made the church spread throughout Europe like a cancer and then the rest of the world. It's a slave revolt. It was the means for the weak, to inherit the earth with these spells, such spells as like Christianity, you know, submit, obey, you know, to like be tapped into your supernatural powers, then you must be with the devil. And then like the science will tell you that that's just not possible. I mean, like now they're starting to acknowledge it, but you know what I'm saying? So basically just wipe all that shit fucking clean, because it's like, yeah, because it's all bullshit. And it's like, it has not been an easy road for the extreme individual. If you watch my videos frequently, you probably are one. And you probably more likely found my channel through like quantum of conscience or something like that. So you've already been, you know, similar path or whatever. So yeah, just throw it all out, all of it. And it hasn't been an easy road, but if we can win ourselves, we can be gods amongst these men and women. Well, Nietzsche said, what is the ape to a human? A laughingstock, a painful embarrassment. That will be what the human is to the Overman. And that's what, like, I'm not supposed to say it, but, like, no, it's like most people, I'm like, more and more each day, I'm like, they're like, what the hell? I came from that? That's, like, it's funny to me. Like, I mean, it's like, fucking, but then it gets to a certain point, they're just funny. They're like comic characters or some shit. They're like cartoons. Anyways, I'm gonna put a playlist talking about the Übermensch, the Overman, in the description. But yeah, that's to be here now. Get in touch with the body, and the body has sensors to it, like a lot. Tap into that, and use the mind instead of trying to negotiate with insanity, or you have like, because you're getting all this bullshit, so it's like conflict of this and that. You're just creating all these conflicts and manifesting outside of you. Further, you're perpetuating it. Build in your mind the images which reflect your future. Build in your mind the images which reflect your future. My mind is a center of divine operation. Be true to my body. Breathe and work out more and all that shit. And fucking fuck what the weaker characters will say, because like they won't acknowledge it, but they're trying to just bring you down. And that's what so much of the confusion is. Fuck with all that shit. Your body is part of your badass dynamic. A huge part of it. There's a lot of things you can awaken in your body. And actually, I'm gonna make this into a ritual. Like every morning when I wake up, do my best to like dance a little bit. And I recommend this for, it helps you, like even if you're in your car and you're like playing something that you can, it doesn't always have to be happy. It could be like heavy metal shit, right? Just fucking get in the groove, loosen up a little bit. Get the body like more loose up again to like be in touch with the vibes, with the waves. Because there's all different types of waves that you can pick up on, I mean, this will sound silly, but I brought this up before. Fucking, I don't know. Like, I think my fucking headbands, feathers, it's fucking like it's an antenna, Ugh. Fuck. I need to take a shower, get some sleep later. Alright, say I'll put something in the description. To be here now, get more in touch with the body and stay with that. That's focus. Build in your mind the images which reflect your future. And anything is possible. You can be a god amongst these last men.